Alright guys, we'll do kind of a short video today, just doing a little bit of prep work for trapping season that's coming up. It's towards the end of October. I think it's a week before Halloween-ish. And so weather's starting to turn, leaves are starting to turn. I'll show you leaves here in a minute because I'm going to show you something else when we look across the river. But I'm trying something a little different this year. I'm going to run, this is a water line, and I've run it for the past couple of years. And in the past I've done some drowning sets, some conibears for beaver, and then quite a few land sets for coons, dog proofs, 1/2s, even pocket sets I'll run basically tethered to like a sapling or something that's up on the bank. So not a lethal set. I'm going to try running a lot of lethal sets this year, put them on drowning wires, and try to extend my check time. In East Tennessee, there's a 72-hour check on lethal sets and a 36-hour check on non-lethal sets. So we'll still set a mix, but I'll spring all the non-lethal sets if I can't make it back out to check those, then try to get where I can leave my traps in for a little bit longer. In the past, I might get 3 or 4 days of a trap soaking somewhere. If I can get my timing to where I can get back out a little more often, maybe I can leave some sets in a little bit longer. So what I'm doing today, sorry that was kind of a longer intro, but what I'm doing today is I'm gonna flip the camera around here. We're just taking some weights for our drowning sets, and we're gonna pre-position them out here just so that come the day that I want to come out and do some setting, I don't have to carry that much weight in my boat, and I can carry more traps and hopefully critters on the way out. So anyways, this is just me doing a little bit of prep work, and I'll show you kind of what I'm gonna do here. Put one of these plates on each side of this little opening, and I'll show you kind of the setup here in just a second. All right, so I had a fella come by buying a boat. I was just giving him a second to get on through. So basically, what I'm gonna do is take one of these plates, come over here, and just set it out there. I'm gonna flip the camera around here, kind of show you what I'm working with, or I'm gonna try to anyways. Okay. All right, there we go. So basically I'm on a pretty decent sized river. Yeah, there you go. You can see all the leaves and stuff here. So I'm on a pretty decent sized river. It's TVA controlled. So controlled by the hydroelectric dam. And then this is just a little, starts in right here. Is just kind of a cut into the bank, and it comes all the way around over to there, maybe 20 yards wide, something. And then there's my plate sitting up at the base of this tree. And if you're not from East Tennessee, what TVA will do in November, usually about the middle of November, is they drop a water down on the lakes they say to keep the area from flooding with winter rains. But you can see right here, this little game trail that goes up. There's a deer track. I looked just a second ago. There's a deer track here. And then you'll see all the way up and down this river, up along the bank here will be a trail where the coons are using it. And there's little, you can see back behind it here, there's another little pocket of water. And there's little sloughs back here all up and down this river. And the coons will travel it, the mink will travel it, beaver, and then if you go back up through the valley, you can't see it, but back up through the woods, there's an old logging road that runs back up here. So we'll set some cat traps and stuff in there this year. But like I said, right now we're just doing a little prep work and trying to get our weights out and get where when trapping season rolls around, we are ready to go. We can come in and hopefully set quite a few sets pretty quick. See you down the line. All right, guys. Next little spot up, same kind of deal. Little cove that comes in back in behind me here, and just setting a few plates out. I got to thinking about it. I did not say on that last little clip, but I use one of those plates for, I'll run 2 traps off of it. So two 1.5s, or whatever your trap of choice is. I'm running 1.5s. That's just what I got. So I'll put a drown wire and attach it to one hole here and one hole here, or one cable to this hole and another cable to this hole, and then I'll hold my cables, chuck it out into the water, and then go up and I'll spread those cables out so they get far enough away, and do like a pocket hole, you know, down here, and whatever other kind of set I want to on the other side. But I'll run one of those plates for my 1.5s, dog proofs, whatever it is, small traps. I do not try to drown beavers off of one of those. If I'm running those plates for beavers, I'll put 3 of them together, bolt them together, and then use that as a weight. And they, just guessing, but they probably weigh 50 pounds, something like that, when you put 3 of them together. Or I'll use what I've got behind me here. Let's see it. Big chunk of steel. Right now, I did my beaver weights yesterday, and doing coon weights today. It's just depends on the location. This one, I know when they drop that water, by the time I'm ready to come in, that water's going to be dropped, and then I'll be able to find that. I can find that weight now, but at least if somebody's running up and down the water here, they don't start poking around and find that thing. So usually once it cools down, the traffic slows down a little bit. Be a few fishermen out, but for the most part, you don't get too much in here. Lord Almighty, muzzleloader season, you're going to get some traffic in here. So, but nobody's looking to carry weights out when they're muzzleloader hunting. So, anyways, I'm going to drop a few plates here. Also, didn't tell you on that last stop, I'd put 1 plate on each side of that little cove, and then I thought about it. There's not a great place between this spot and that last spot to leave them along the bank and be able to find them as easy. I still mark them on Onyx and write down what I've got where, but it's still a little bit harder to find. So I just left, I ended up going back, and I left half a dozen plates down there at that last spot. So I'll just pick them up, you know, day of. I've only got to go, you know, half mile, quarter mile, something like that, and spread them out through there. And then if I don't want to use them, I can carry them in the boat. That won't be too much weight added, or leave them and come back and get them later. So anyways, you got some variety there. So I'm gonna put these plates out real quick, and then I'll show you this slough back behind me here. Okay, got my plates put in, and I'm gonna pick this up. Actually, I'm gonna stop it, restart it, and flip my camera around. All right, there we go. Got you flipped around here. You can see across the river. Like I said, leaves starting to turn. And for those of you, all right, sorry, I was getting sidetracked there. We're gonna go back in here. There's a little opening, found this a couple of years ago. And we'll take you back in here and show you these sloughs. But anyways, a couple of years ago, a couple of decades ago, TVA come in and dammed up all over East Tennessee and put hydroelectric dams in, and then they control the water up and down. And so they did that in part in East Tennessee, I think, because, you know, if you look across here, you had a creek that comes down anyways, and then these high hillsides, they could put a hydroelectric dam in there real easy and dam the water up. And then if you look down here, you can see the foot traffic a little bit coming in and out of here. And if we get down in close, if I find, that's kind of sloppy, if we get down in here pretty close, we'll find you, you know, you can find some coon tracks and a lot of deer tracks in here too. And so I'll slip in here and just kind of show you what I'm looking at. But you can see there's little sloughs here. Do this without getting wet. And it goes back up this way. There's a little dry patch here, but on back here there's another slough. And then if we keep going, may not go all the way in, because you get the idea. But you can kind of see, let me get up here, you can kind of see right here, it goes around this bend and it keeps going way on out. There's a slough back in there too. And all these will drop down when they drop the water, but they stay damp. And you'll get a lot of coons in here, a lot of deer coming in here. And it's a good place to trap. But that's just kind of a look at some of the area I'm in. It's a little deeper look. And then float still there, which is a good thing. All right, so I'll sign out of this one, and we'll see you on up the line. All right, another classic spot. I didn't put the microphone on for this one because I was already out of the boat. I wasn't intending to film it, and then had a bunch of turkeys come down here and get a drink, so I may show you that here at some point in the video. But just look at that tree, and we'll zoom out a little bit. Keep going. Big sycamore tree right at the base of the water there, and then back in a little cove. If I say a little cove, one of those little indentions in the bank. And so we'll drop some weights here and set it come 3 or 4 weeks from now. Okay, so it's been a couple of weeks since I put those weights out, and this is just a clip. I didn't finish the video up, so I was back out. I was actually deer hunting, but like I said, it's a couple of weeks later since first week of November, and TVA is starting to really play with the water levels, and so came out here and they've started dropping a little bit, but there you go. This is where we dropped the weights at in here. And I'll be honest, that right there kind of looks like an otter to me. I may be wrong, somebody may set me straight, but anyways, these are definitely coon tracks in here. And then just right there was where I had my weight set. So like I said, nothing revelational, but just you can see where, you know, a few weeks ago water was up to here, and they brought it down, and then they brought it back up a little bit, and they're going to keep changing the water levels, but it's definitely lower than where it was when we came in a few weeks ago. And so there's your coon tracks, and they'll just work these banks in through here. All right, guys, that pretty much wraps up the preseason weight prep stuff that we did. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got something out of it. I know it was nothing groundbreaking, but just that's kind of my process and what I'm doing. Nothing I do is a how-to video, because I'm not good enough to be doing how-to videos. This is just what I'm doing, and then if it works, maybe you can use it. So good luck to you, and we'll see you down the line.